You all know in this world and the way things are based on your experiences, what happens if the hand releases the rock? It falls. It falls, right? And you represent this fact and you can forecast and predict what's going to happen in virtue of a habit you have. You form the habit based on experience, right? And you know that your habit matches the regularity in the world. Your habit of, predicting these things, right? That, released rocks tend to fall, right? This maps onto the world and you're like pretty confident that this is not going to be wrong. And you go ahead and you predict that. But that's based on, you have had multiple instances, as humans have seen multiple instances of rocks falling. I want you to now imagine that this is the first time a rock will be released, right, from a hand ever in the history of the universe, right? Now, there's two possibilities. If we ask, this is the first time a rock is ever going to be released, or any object is going to be released from a hand on a planet, I'm going to keep spelling that out, right? What will happen? Well, there's two views, there's just two ways of looking at this, right? If you think this, let's go back. If you think this, that somehow, baked into the universe was right, the laws of physics, then the very first time this was falling, the very first time this was going to be released, what would happen? So E equals MC squared has been baked into the universe. The first time the rock's about to be released, what's going to happen to the rock? The universe has been set. It's going to fall. Yeah, it's going to fall. It's going to go this way, right? Why? Because, F equals ma and E equals MC squared, right? That's all right. That's gravity. Exactly. That's been baked into the universe, right? But that requires you to take as a given, right, that it's been baked in. You have to accept that as a given. What if you're not happy with that? What if you think that's not primitive enough? Like, that renders one fact explainable, but by appealing to another fact that you're now making unexplainable, which is why those laws? Like, seriously, like, why those? Right? Like, interestingly enough, and you can think why the fine-tuning argument for the existence of God, for instance, is so popular. Like, why those? Right? It's like, it could have been something else. Well, let's not make that assumption. Let's go a different route. Let's go the Persian route. This has never happened before. This is the first rock ever to be released, right? According to Peirce, if it's never happened before, and it's the beginning of the universe, this is completely up for grabs. There is no law that's already set in motion. The fundamental ingredients of the universe aren't going to be laws, but chance and habit taking. These are the only two ingredients that we're going to use. It's like flour and water. You can make flatbread, right? You can make so much with just flour and water. We're going to build a universe out of chance and habit taking, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to build the laws of the universe based on that. Now, if this has never happened before, according to Peirce, it could fall, it could go up, it could go sideways, it could go this way. Anything could happen. It could stay still, right? Anything can happen. Pure spontaneity, pure chance, right? And John writes, would habit taking apply here if it is the first time ever it's happened? No, habit requires more than one instance, right? It's just like you can't have a habit. If you do a hole in one, but it's the first time you ever hit, it's pure luck, right? You've never hit a ball before. I can't credit you with being a good golfer. It's absolute pure luck, right? There's complete chance right now. John, can you see that? You need more than one instance. Yeah. So right now it's completely spontaneous, right? I'm going to basically limit, just for the sake of our little micro universe, I'm going to limit it to 4 possibilities because we agree there's a zillion possibilities, right? All sorts of things could happen. It could also vanish out of thin air. It could go poof in a puff of smoke. It could switch into green cheese, blue cheese. Who knows what's going to happen when that hand's been released? We're at the beginning of the universe. We're a second into the universe. This has never happened before. It's completely unprecedented. The universe itself doesn't know what's going to happen because there's nothing written on a tablet anywhere, right? The only fundamental law that's going to govern our micro universe is going to be the following. This is the one law of laws. It's the law that's going to explain all other laws. Repeat randomly from all that has happened before. All right? That's going to be the one law. Now, what's happened before? Has this ever happened before? Based on what I've just told you. Has this ever happened before? Someone's about to release a rock. Has this ever happened before? No. So we can't repeat randomly from what's happened before. In this case, it's just going to mean anything can happen, because this has never happened before. There's no precedent. It's like a judge. You know, when I teach philosophy of law, the cases that are the most interesting are when a judge is in front of a case for which the judge, she can't turn around and say, hey, what did you folks think? There's no one to turn around to consult. There's no precedent. There's no legal precedent. There's no legal precedent right now. There's no metaphysical precedent. So we're going to make it such that there's only, let's give ourselves 4 options, right? Because tracking all the different possibilities would be too hard. I'm going to give myself down, up, down, left, right, like a crosshair for a video game, right? Up, down, left, right. So let's say we're going to call this 1. We're going to call this 2. We're going to call this 3. And we're going to call this 4. So let's just reduce this to 4 possibilities. And right now, right, if we were to consult the one law of laws, repeat randomly from what all that's happened before, really anything can happen, quite literally. Like anything can happen. It could go up, it could go down, it could go left, it could go right, right? So that's the first state of our universe. So state number 1, right? So we're baking the laws of physics. We're going to use Peirce's method to develop a universe, right? So we're going to say anything can happen. That's going to be the first initial state. That's the first initial state of our microcosmos, our model of the universe. Anything can happen, and that's where we are at the beginning. So in the beginning, what in the beginning? In the beginning, anything can bloody happen. It's not written in the stones. It's not written in the tablets. You know, like what, before the Big Bang, E equals MC squared was settled? It's like, no, none of that is settled. Anything can happen, all right? So far, so good. If you're following along, say good. So far, so good. First state of our story here. Anything can happen. Who the hell knows? Cool. All right. And remember, the basic ingredients are chance and habit taking. And really, we're going to run our whole universe, right, on chance. And habit taking is basically the law, the one law of laws, right? So I'm going to actually resort to chance here to figure this out. I'm going to use a little tool here, right? So let's have a look. Hopefully this will screen share well. Can everyone see a wheel here? I'm going to spin the wheel. Can everyone see that? All right, so I'm on a random number generator here. I've given myself 4 options, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those stand for up, down, left, right, in whichever way I've just assigned it, right? I'm going to spin the wheel. All right, so here I go. Actually, can I have a volunteer? Someone give me a volunteer. I want someone else to spin the wheel. It'll be more fun. Who wants to volunteer to spin the wheel? John volunteers. John, please press on your screen where it says spin. Say yes when you've pressed it. There you go. Oh, John's pressed it. Thank you, John. I'm just kidding here. John can't really press his screen. All right, and the verdict is 4. And everyone can see here. I want to be ultra transparent about the fact that I'm really using chance here, right? At any rate, 4. So where did the rock go here? According to the wheel that said it was 4, where did our rock go? So sorry, I just erased it. It went to the left, right? So yeah, it went to the left. All right, so that's where it went. It went to the left, right? So the first state was completely unprecedented. And now we've just resorted to chance. And it turns out when you release this rock on this first occasion, right, it went to the left. So we're going to go over here. And now we're going to type in that it went to the left. We're going to record that for posterity. We're going to say at the beginning, anything could happen. And so when it was first released, what happened? It went to the left. So I'm going to say left now. All right. So now we're at time t3. At the beginning, anything could happen. After one drop, it went to the left. Now, our law says, the law of laws, repeat randomly from all that's happened before. But what's happened before? 2 things have happened before. First, anything could have happened. That was the first thing. And second, it went to the left. Now we're about to do this. So this is now our third occasion to do something. All right, so so the third state, we're going to drop the rock again, right? And now we're going to resort to our law to figure out what to do, right? What's going to happen. It says repeat randomly for all that's happened before. Well, 2 things have happened before. Yeah, there's no guessing here, just taking chances. Exactly, Ariana. I'm literally using the wheel. I'm not asking you. I'm not guessing, right? Oops, I've erased what I said. All right, so I got to be careful here. So anything can happen, right? That's our first thing. Anything can happen. All right, cool. And then the second one was left, right? And now we have how many options to choose from. So now what we have is we have 2 options to choose from in determining what's going to happen at 3, right? So I'm going to go back to my wheel picker to figure out which of these 2 options, 2 or 1, is going to happen. Because our rule says in order to figure out what happens, right, consult the past and pick randomly. Probably my arrow should go this way. To figure out what happens at 3, go back in the past and pick randomly from what happened before. And we have 2 options here, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my wheel. So here I go, right? I'm going to reduce this to 2 options. So now there's 2 options. There's option number 1, which was anything can happen, and option number 2, which is go to the left. All right, who wants to spin the wheel? Andrew spins the wheel. Go for it. All right, cool. So now we go back to 1, right? So 1 was anything can happen. So what does that mean? So anything can happen. Now it's going to be a surprise, right? Anything can happen, my friends. So anything can happen. It can go, and we've limited ourselves to 4 directions, right? It can go this way, or this way, or this way. I'm going to go, let's see, let's assign these letters. 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a rock war. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Anything can happen, folks. Anything. I feel like at a carnival of some sort, right? Anything can happen, people. All right, so here we go. We're going to use chance once again. I'm only resorting to chance here. I'm only resorting to chance. Who wants to spin the wheel to figure out what's going to happen to that rock? Which way is it going to go? Anything can happen. Spin the wheel. Who wants to spin the wheel? Arjun is spinning the wheel. Here we go. Two. All right, cool. 2. So let's figure out what that means. 2 means it goes right. So these other options, not happening, right? It turns out it went right. So that's what anything can happen. The thing went right. Cool. So let's go back in time here. And we're going to write what? We're going to write at 3. We're going to write right. Cool. Right. All right. What's going to happen at time T4? What's going to happen at 4? Well, what does our law say? Our law of laws says repeat randomly from all that's happened before. So now we have to figure out what's happened before. What's happened before is that anything could happen. It was pure randomness. Once it went left, once it went right, and those are our 3 options. Those are the 3 options to choose from. So we're going to once again just rely on chance to figure out what's going to happen at the 4th moment. All right, so let's figure out what's going to happen at the 4th moment. Let me screen share that with you. And now we're going to need 3 options, right? Here we are. We got 3 options. Who wants to spin the wheel? Ariana, allez-y. 1. Good toss, good toss, good spin. All right, so now that means what? Based on what I had said, well, actually I didn't assign, well, actually I did, we were here. That's right. So 1 means anything can happen. So anything can happen. So I'm gonna skip the wheel. Ariana, you just get to make stuff up. Ariana, which way do you want this rock to go? Up, down, left, right. Just skip us a step. Up. Cool. Ariana says up. Ariana, can you do me a favor? Just to speed up the process for pedagogical reasons, because Papa Bear's looking at the clock. Could you say right? All right, cool. Just because we could do this, but I'm just looking at the clock. I think you folks are starting to understand how this is going to work, right? Let's say it went right, right? Because anything could happen, and it went right. Cool. Let's find out what's going to happen at time number 5. How do we do that? We refer ourselves to what's happened before, and we pick randomly from what's happened before. What's happened before is right, left, and anything can happen. What do you think is the likeliest chance? What's the likeliest outcome of this, by the way? So what's the likeliest thing to happen at 5 if you had to bet? You got 4 options. Right, would be the likeliest thing. Let's figure it out. Let's go back to our wheel now. Let's go back to our wheel. And now we have to pick between 4 things, right? Who wants to spin the wheel? We're baking a universe. We're baking laws out of pure chance. Who wants to spin the wheel? Reese is going to spin the wheel. Here we go, Reese. Four. Well done. So 4 means what? So 4 means, so we were figuring out like which of these past events. It turns out it's 4. So the rock is going to go which way when we drop it? It's going to go right. It's going to go right. All right, let's do it again for 6, right? How do we figure out 6? Which law is going to govern this rock? What's going to happen to this rock? Who the hell knows, right? Well, we say, well, repeat randomly from what's ever happened before. And it's, you know, who the hell knows right now? But if you had to bet right now at this stage, and we're at stage 6, if you had to bet, where's this rock going to go now once we release it? You had to bet. Probably right, huh? Because look at our options. We have to consult what happened before and pick from that. We have 5 options to choose from. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And those options are right, 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 left, and anything can happen. The wild card that was at the beginning, right? So what's going to happen at 6? So let's screen share this. Let's spin the wheel. I need a volunteer for my wheel. Who's my volunteer? And we have 5 options. Volunteers, please. Owen gives it a spin. 5. Well done, my friend. And so what does that mean? Well, it now means that, let me just undo all this without erasing everything. It means that the rock is going to go which way? It's going to go right. And once again, what will we do for 7? We would consult what would happen in the past and repeat randomly from all that's happened before. So let's pause here. What do you think is going to happen if we spin the wheel with 7 segments and 6 segments and 4 of those 6 represent right? So 4 of the 6 possibilities represent right. It becomes more lopsided towards the dominant option. That's right. It's more likely right. And it's going to probably go that way. And let's try it. Let's try it. I'm going to spin the wheel. This is going to be my last spin of the wheel. We have how many options to choose from here? 6. So let me set this up. I'm going to spin the wheel. Where will this rock go? Again, notice how the rock could go anywhere. In the strict sense of the rock could go anywhere, right? But our universe is starting to fit into a bit of a pattern here, right? And Ariana's, that's what's happening. It's emerging, right? How many options did I have? Did I say I had 6? Or let's spin the wheel. I'm going to spin the wheel this time. 2. Beautiful, right? 2. So what's going to happen at 7 now? If I've landed on 2, where's the rock going to go? It's going to go left. That's right. So there's still room for surprises. There's still room for surprises, right? And there's always going to be room for surprises because at the end of the day, there's still the anything goes. But what's the dominant option still? If I'm going to spin for 8, what would be the likeliest one? Still right, right? And every time right wins, every time that one possibility wins, it's more and more likely as time goes by. It's more and becomes more and more likely. Each one of these steps. So let me just pause now. Let's just do some philosophical morals from all this. The only ingredient that we used so far is chance. Chance both in the initial state, chance in picking out which of the different states we pick from, right? Yet, because of this one rule, this one law of laws, right? Habit taking starts to emerge. the universe starts to have a bit of a habit right now. It's a bit soft. It's a little hard. It's hardening as we go. Right now, it looks like who's going to be the winner in this universe? Where will rocks go when they fall? It looks like very early in the game to say. It's too early to call the hockey match, but this universe is slowly growing and developing. Where will rocks fall when released in this universe? It seems probably to the right. And we'd have to keep testing. Maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe I'm wrong, but when you release a rock, it'll go to the right. And of course, if you come in really late in the game, all right, so let's go really late in the game here, right? Let's imagine, right? This is because we're eight milliseconds into the universe, right? How many times have things been released? How many times have rocks been released since the beginning of the universe? How many times have objects been released since in your universe, in the universe we know and love, Reese? In this universe that we know and love right now. Like an almost infinite, a finite but unfathomable number, right? Let's say a googolplex, right? Which is an insanely high number, right? A googolplex. So let's say a really, really high number, but GP doesn't convey it enough. Let's just say like let's just make 1,000 still a big number, right? Of course, if you live in this universe and you were born at time t1000, chances are all the rocks you saw falling went where? Let's say let's say this keeps working itself out, right? Right has a great advantage, right? Let's say it ends up becoming right? If you live in this universe and it's 1,000 times now, this has happened 1,000 times. In that universe, when you see a rock falling, it's always gone right ways. And you're going to say, well, there's this law of gravity. And the law of gravity is that when you release an object, it goes right. And of course, now you're going to think, go right is on the tablets. You're basically going to say, oh, look, you see, go right. That's one of the rules, right? When things are released, they go right. It's one of the rules. But it wasn't one of the rules. It just happened by chance. Everything happened by chance. It's just that the chance eventually started to settle into a regularity, and the regularity got confirmed because it got confirmed, which gave it a greater chance of being confirmed, and then the regularity became more regular, and all of that was built on one ingredient alone, namely chance. And in our world, things go down. But Peirce is going to say they could have been otherwise. Things, when you drop them, could have done all sorts of things. But we're coming in really late in the game, and the world that we're observing, right? The world that we're observing is the world over here, very late in the game, ... A lot of things has happened, but in the beginning, there was chance. Pure, unadulterated chance. And Peirce is going to say that's much better than to say in the beginning, there was E equals MC squared or something like that. The laws weren't set. The laws were not set at all. They were not set. They became set with time. All that we had at the beginning of the universe in the primordial soup of the cosmos was chance and this one law of laws. My friends, does that make sense? Is that clear? Tell me if that's clear. If it's clear, write clear. If you have a question, write your question. And notice here, we cheated a little bit. We asked, because I wanted to start seeing a direction in the habit taking. I asked Ariana to say, oh, please just go there. But if you ran this experiment, and you can do this yourself, right? Try it yourself. Don't take Peirce's word for it. Just with chance, eventually, if you're governed with that one principle, repeat randomly from all that's happened before, you start with pure spontaneity. All sorts of things might happen. One of those things among the others tends to happen, and then that starts to give a predilection to that thing. More things are likely to happen as a result of the one happening. And once it has a predominant advantage over the others, maybe once in a while other options won out, but once there's a predominant advantage, right, that predominant advantage makes it look like it's now a law, right? But notice what happens. Chance was at the beginning, and even now in our world, when we drop, according to this account, when we drop a rock and it goes down, is there a possibility it may do otherwise, according to this account? When you right now drop a rock, might it surprise you and just go, yeah, it might. It might, right? Why? You're right. Owen, Reese, Andrew, you're right. Why? It might surprise you. You drop a rock and it might go and go this way. Anything can happen is always an option. Yes, because of chance. That's right. Look here. This first thing was chance. This first primordial thing here at the very beginning where we started, that initial state was anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. We never actually leave that, right? That's always one of the possibilities. Now, of course, when we spin the wheel now, right, what is it like? Well, when we spin the wheel, that's like me saying, let's go back to the number picker. When you let a rock drop now, it's like this. So what's the maximum? 1,000. All right, how's this? Let me share screen that with you. If it falls on 1, the number will do something wacko. Anything else, it'll fall down. And we spin the wheel. Let me just spin the wheel. What do you think is going to happen? Will it be another number other than 1, or will it be 1? And you're like, hey, it's any other number than 1. 1 would have been the one where it surprises you. It does something wild. Or an earlier number in the universe, let's say, maybe it went left at, what did we say? It went left on the second run. So let's say 2 was going to go left. The earlier numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 is like pure chance. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You go left, right, up, down, left. And then it's like, at some point it started settling to down, 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 right? And of course, if I spin the wheel again, what's the safest prediction? Where's the rock going to go? Safest prediction would be up, down, left, or right. Where would it go? The safest prediction. Down, of course. Let's test it again. And after several spins of the wheel, you're like, I got this figured out. I figured out the law. Things that are dropped go down. I've got my law of gravity. But the law, now you have a choice. How do you gloss it? And Peirce says you don't have to think that it was baked into the universe just because why would it go down? It's not obvious. Could have gone different ways. You don't have to bake it into the universe. All you can do is you can say there's chance. It could have gone all sorts of ways, but then the universe took on a habit. I took on a habit as well. My habit maps onto the habit of the universe, but just as my habit can always err, my habits can always break down, there's always room for surprise in the universe, right? And that's the element of firstness and surprise. And when you get the surprise, you get the firstness is the potentiality. The surprise is the secondness. You could be shocked, right? But there's one rule that explains all the rules. All the laws of physics are explained by this one principle, this principle of habit taking coupled with chance. What do you think is more parsimonious, right? So it was written in the tablets, or it just kind of settled into place? What do you think, my friends?